not quite ready to bring it down just yet, but holy smokes, I gotta stop looking at the fuel because it's going down quick.
Hi, I'm Jo Bailey, clinical psychologist. Today's story is about a man, Richard Russell, who was affectionately known as Bebo to his friends, or he also got this tag as the Sky King to people who heard his story or supported what he did online. But what he did is not something to be celebrated or romanticized, and I'm going to talk about that in this video. But what he did was a tragic tale of someone who was obviously very successful on the outside, but battling his demons or experiencing some kind of inner turmoil on the inside. So who was Richard Russell? Well, he was a 28-year-old man who stunned the world when he stole a Bombardier Q400 aircraft. I believe this was worth $21 million from Seattle Tacoma International Airport back on August the 10th, 2018. He had no formal pilot training and he performed aerial stunts and saying he wanted to do barrel roll before he tragically crashed his plane to the ground and ended his life. On that fateful day, Richard Russell showed up at work as usual, showed his badge, entered his work premises. Nothing seemed out of the usual. He had a shirt on that said "The sky's no limit," which is a little ironic, I guess, knowing what he was about to do. You see him entering, this is actual footage, entering into the workspace. And in this video, you can see Richard Russell out on the tarmac around the plane that he would soon illegally enter, steal, fly around for a good hour, and ultimately end his life in.
Alrighty, yeah, I just kind of want to do a couple maneuvers to see what it can do before I put it down, you know? Shoot. Man, I'm sorry about this. I hope this doesn't ruin your day.
Just flying the plane around, you seem comfortable with that?
Oh, hell yeah, it's a blast, man. I played video games before, so I know what I'm doing a little bit.
Okay, and you can see all the terrain around you. You've got no issue with visibility or anything?
Nah, everything's peachy clean. Just did a little circle around right here. It's beautiful. I think I got some gas to go check out the Olympics. And, yeah. Get me to the jets?
No, I'm not taking you to any jets. I'm actually keeping you away from aircraft that are trying to land at SeaTac.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't want to screw with that. I'm glad you're not, screwing up everyone else's day on account of me.
There is the runway just off your right side in about a mile. Do you see that? That's McCord Field.
Oh man, those guys will rough me up if I try landing there. I think I might mess something up there too. I wouldn't want to do that. Hopefully. Oh, they probably got anti-aircraft.
No, they don't have any of that stuff. We're just trying to find a place for you to land safely.
Hey, you think if I land this successfully, Alaska will give me a job as a pilot?
I think they would give you a job doing anything if you could pull this off.
Yeah, right. Hey, I want the coordinates of that orca with the mama orca with the baby.
Okay, Rich, well, first of all, we just need you to keep flying the aircraft. So if you could just stay there and keep flying the aircraft. The airport you just passed over on your left, that's the Tacoma Narrows Airport. I mean, that's also an option if you want to try going there.
Hey, Rich, this is Captain Bill here. We're still listening. My airplane's doing just fine. How's yours?
285 left to November, hold short of runway 1.
Like I said, it would be a better option, I think, if you tried to land it or even land it on the water.
Yeah. Hey, is that pilot on? I want to know what this weather's going to be like in the Olympics.
Well, if you can see the Olympics, the weather's good. I can see the Olympics through my window, and it looks pretty good over there.
Now, when you watch that video, you might think he sounds sane, but you also question, surely this man had something going on. Maybe he was unhinged. Maybe he was having an existential crisis. Maybe he had some criminal history in his background or problems at work. You suspect there must have been something significant going on because ordinary people don't do abnormal things, or do they?
I got a lot of people that care about me, and it's going to disappoint them since to hear that I did this. I would like to apologize to each and every one of them. Just a broken guy. Got a few screws loose, I guess. Never really knew it till now.
Squawk 4671.
If you go too much further in that direction, I won't be able to hear you anymore.
Alrighty. Hey, pilot guy, can this thing do a backflip, you think?
Step out the right.
I'm gonna land it. In a safe kind of manner. I think I'm gonna try to do a barrel roll, and if that goes good, then I'll just go nose down and call it a night.
But the truth is, he really was just an ordinary guy. He had a wife, he had an education, he had a job, he had a family, he was part of a church community, he professed to love God. He was a man who had dreams, aspirations, and on the surface had no obvious problems. But during his unauthorized flight, he referred to himself as just a broken guy with a few screws loose. Now, these statements imply maybe he was experiencing something much deeper, some kind of mental health challenge that no one else knew about, that he was able somehow to cover up. And this isn't such an unusual thing, particularly with men. I don't know if it is because men think of themselves as the stronger sex, if it's because they see themselves as the breadwinner, the head of the home, and if he had a Christian background, perhaps he was putting a lot of pressure on himself to be the breadwinner, to be the provider, to be the head of the home, and there's no space for someone to be unwell in that. I don't know his story, but I do know from my own clinical experience that many men believe that they cannot be unwell, and they put so much unfair pressure on themselves when they struggle with the things in life, the human condition that no one is really exempt from. We all struggle. When I first learned of Richard's story, which was more recently, it came up as a short. I can't remember if it was Facebook or YouTube, but I do remember the caption. It said, "What man hasn't wanted to do this?" And I knew straight away I needed to do a video on this. What man hasn't wanted to do this? Do what exactly? Steal a plane? End his life? Or do they mean run away, escape, literally fly away? Because flying away and escape from something is very different to what Richard did. And that is what we need to talk about here. Men's mental health and how success on the surface doesn't always equate with happiness or contentment or mental wellness on the inside. In fact, the more successful a person is, the harder it can be for them sometimes. They have to keep up this facade, or they think they have to keep up this facade, this image of being capable, of being successful. And it's like they're in a pressure cooker situation, and at times when they can take no more, when the stresses exceed their capacity or their resources to cope, then it can have disastrous consequences. And I think this was probably happening with Richard as well. So let's have a look at the psychological factors behind Richard's incident, and let's see if at least his story may be able to help other men or other people in general. And the first thing we need to look at is the stigma behind men's mental health. Richard's story underscores a significant issue. Many men struggle in silence due to societal pressures that they believe equate to vulnerability or with weakness if they ask for help. For generations, men have been conditioned to suppress their emotions and to prioritize resilience and avoid seeking help. And as a result, many men, like Richard Russell, internalize their struggles until they manifest in destructive ways. Richard's description of himself as broken during the flight is a testament to unspoken pain. And despite his outwardly stable life, even his confidence and his demeanor when he was talking to the air traffic controllers, he seemed calm. He even seemed funny at times, jovial, enjoying the view, saying he was having a good time. But this kind of outward stability, this outward confidence, and this illusion of always being in control that men seem to have, may have contributed to what he ultimately did. Men need to have a safe space to share their feelings without fear or without judgment or without feeling like they have to maintain this facade of successfulness and strength. Lesson 1. We must normalize men expressing their emotions and seeking mental health support. Checking in on male friends and loved ones is an essential step towards reducing their silent suffering. And number 2, external success doesn't equal internal well-being. Richard's life seemed secure. A loving marriage, a steady job, future aspirations. He came across as confident and funny, and even on the day that he took his own life, he was smiling and joking. However, inner turmoil often exists beneath the surface, and appearances can be deceiving. This reminds me of an ad. Now, this has just come to me. I'm going to go and find it, and I'm going to insert it here. I don't care if this video does not get monetized, it gets a copyright. I want to show you this ad because this ad is the best representation of men's mental health that I think I've ever seen.
Oh wow, how are you doing? You good? Oh, sorry, thank you. How you doing? God, it's exciting, isn't it?
So, how's the week been?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope things are better outside of the football.
How poignant is that ad? I mean, that is just a perfect representation of the point that I'm trying to make here. And lesson 2, which is mental health struggles aren't always visible. Being proactive about emotional well-being and creating environments where vulnerability is welcomed can help unearth hidden struggles. And it never hurts just to check in on mates either. Number 3, access to resources matters. Now, despite working in a high-stress job, Richard may not have had adequate resources to address his own mental health challenges. His comments about dissatisfaction with life and at work suggest that there may have been deeper frustrations at play, and perhaps these frustrations went unaddressed. There's a video that he made, and I will go and find it. I'll insert it here. But he's uploading bags, and whilst he's talking about the perks of his job, you just hear a bit of a dissatisfaction about how, despite all his education and where he's come from and his training, his aspirations of being in the military, here he is just loading bags.
Hi, I'm Beaver Russell, and I'm a ground service agent. That means I lift a lot of bags. Like a lot of bags. So many bags. Look at all them bags. Ooh, a purple one. I usually have to work outside in this.
The lesson we can take away here is employers Communities and families must prioritise providing accessible and judgment-free mental health resources, especially for those in demanding professions and especially for those men that are in executive positions as well. They are not immune to this, and as I said before, often more susceptible at times. Number 4, suicidal thoughts often stem from complex emotions. Richard's flight was not merely a reckless act. It symbolized a profound expression of emotional pain, deep emotional pain, and his conversations with air traffic controllers also hint at the ambivalence that he was probably feeling as he expressed gratitude for their attempt to help. He said that he didn't want to mess up their day. He comments on how beautiful the view is, and yet at the same time he seemed resigned to his fate. And in the end, his final words are he's going to nosedive the plane and call it a night.
I'll just go nose down and call it a night.
And the lesson here is recognizing the signs of distress and intervening with compassion, and how that can really make a life-saving difference. Suicidal thoughts often reflect a desire to escape pain, not necessarily to end life itself. And I really believe that's what we saw with Richard and what he did. Most people, not all, definitely not all, but most people who have considered ending their life do feel a little bit better once they've made that decision. But they often want to put everything in place before they go. Now, whether that is a note they leave to loved ones, or whether it's a goodbye, or finalizing plans, finances, whatever it be, we didn't see any of that with Richard. In fact, the video of him on the day at work, he arrives as normal, and there is this hesitation and certainly the ambivalence whilst he's talking to the air traffic controllers. Ultimately, he made his choice and he put that plane down. And I think the air traffic controllers had compassion, which leads to number 5. Number 5 is compassion can save lives. Now, sadly, that did not happen in Richard's case, but compassion can save lives, and the air traffic controllers who engaged with Richard during the flight exemplified empathy in a crisis situation. They made genuine attempts to connect with him, offering understanding instead of judgment, even in an extraordinary situation. They did a fabulous job, and I feel for them. They went to work also, and this is the thing with suicide, it affects so many people, not just the individual themselves. So the lesson here is empathy and compassion are vital in any interaction with someone expressing distress. Judgment and criticism will only deepen their isolation and despair. Compassion is always the way. You know, when I watched the video of Richard in the plane, it reminded me of a fictional movie that was one of my favorite movies when I was younger, Thelma and Louise, where they couldn't escape their demons either, and their actions followed them, and they just got in deeper and deeper as the movie progressed, and in the end they held hands and they drove off the cliff. Now, the movie romanticized this in a way, but it's not romantic, it's not a movie, it's not unfixable. Real life has solutions. It will leave a whole lot of broken hearts behind if you go, and once you go, your problems are over. That's true, but you create a lot of problems for those left behind. And this is not to guilt you into anything, this is just the stone cold truth. People love you, people will miss you, and you will leave lives in tatters. Whether you believe that to be true or not, I promise you it is true. There is always someone that will love you and their life will be changed forevermore. If you're experiencing the lure, and it is a lure, it's a seductive and appealing lure at times. I know, I've been there. If you think that your problems are too great to overcome, then you need to know that that is part of the deception of mental health. What it does is it whispers sweet words that are not true, that are not grounded in rational thought into your ears. And it tells you that this is the only answer. that people will be better off without you, and you come to believe that. I promise you it's not true. These voices, these words, these thoughts, they pass. Even though in that moment it feels like they never will, I promise you they do. In Australia, we have Men's Line. I am just getting that number now. I'm going to put it on the screen. Men's Line. Now this is a number, 24-hour line number in Australia, 1300 78 9978. But this is not just a men's problem. I've focused on men in this video, but we also in Australia have Lifeline, 131144. And if you are still watching now, I thank you for still being here. And I urge you to maybe consider putting up a number in the comment section below of the country or the state, wherever you are, and a contact number for 24-hour support in your area. You never know who might see it, and you never know whose life you may save. But it is a community problem. We are all in this together. And remember, the most important thing is to be compassionate and withhold judgment. Until you've walked in someone's shoes like this, you never know what you yourself are capable of. Life is too short already. A difficult one today, a pretty deep, profound one, but I also want you to know that you're not alone. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other, and have a very happy and peace-filled day. Bye for now.